Welcome to this solo episode of the Align Founder podcast titled Climbing Mount Purpose. This is a story about the entrepreneur's journey from nothing to finding material success and financial freedom in life, and then finally to finding true happiness and fulfillment. If you're somebody who has achieved already a solid level of success, more than enough to cover all of your basic needs in life, but you still feel like there's got to be something more out there, then this one is most definitely for you. If you're currently busy or you find your attention is occupied, if you're moving around or driving, I suggest that you take a moment to sit down, pause this episode until you can, and close down your eyes, get comfortable, and take a deep breath in, and open up to allowing this story to sink deep into your subconscious. Imagine this. You were born in a small village at the foot of a mountain. Everyone in your town looks up at this mountain and talks about how great and big it is, and how on top of that mountain is a wonderful village in the sky where all of your dreams will finally come true. Every day you look up to this mountain in the morning and it mysticizes you. You grew up hearing myths and tales and legends of people who were brave enough to climb this great mountain. And even the story of one man who had left your village and climbed this mountain, and everyone still talks about him years later. They even put up a statue of him in the middle of the town square. Meanwhile, the reality of the life in the village is pretty dark and hard. There's fear in the air, there's uncertainty, sickness, and there's a threat of war. It is your home, but it's not a really nice place to be. Most people here are living as slaves, just working hard all day, every day, just to afford a few crumbs to feed their families. People are born here in the dirt, and they grow up, live out their lives, become old, and die in that same dirt in which they were born. So at a certain point, you decide that you're done. You're sick of this life in the village. You know that you were made for more. And so you make the decision to leave and to set off on a quest to climb this infamous mountain in the distance. Now, of course, people in the village say that you're completely crazy. There's so much danger up on that mountain. You could get killed. It's much safer to just stay here. And all of your friends who always talked about leaving with you to climb this mountain as well, as soon as they hear you want to go, they all want actually nothing to do with it. They've all gone quite silent. Now, as you leave, your mother cries in your father's arms as you head off with your backpack on your back into the distance. And even though it's really sad and emotional to leave everything you've ever known, and quite scary actually, as you get more and more distance from this town, the emotions start to kind of fade away into the distance. And after a few days of traveling, you feel more lightness in your body, and the weight and the size of this goal that's ahead starts to set over you. It brings a sense of excitement and adventure. And after a few days, you arrive at the foot of this great mountain, and you look up at this new life that's ahead of you, uncertain of where it's going to take you. You take a deep breath and take the first step up the mountain. Now, you spend many, many years climbing up this mountain. There's no training, there's no map for how to do this. You're just kind of figuring it out as you go. And along the way, you meet other people who are also attempting to climb this great giant mountain. Some of them are friendly, but others just are actually quite aggressive and try to kick you back down the mountain. And you start to become more and more aware of who is friend and who is foe, and who you can trust on this journey. At some point along the way, you meet a climbing partner who has worked on certain skills. He's really good at making ropes and making shoes to help climb the mountain. Meanwhile, you've developed map reading skills, and you're really good at bargaining and negotiating with the locals for food. So at a certain point, you realize that actually it's better for you guys to join forces and come together and scale this mountain as a team. So the two of you continue to climb over many, many years, weathering hard times, every day dreaming of reaching the surface as you just survive and get through every single day. You're challenged, and there's many times that you think all hope is lost, and maybe at a certain point you need to turn back and go back to that village that you came from. But finally, one day, all of the hard work that you put in comes to fruition. Your quest is complete. As you plant your feet on the very top of this great mountain, you have won. It's a huge moment. You celebrate as a white bearded man in a cloak appears in front of you. He greets you and says, "Congratulations, my friend. You have reached the top of Mount Freedom." You can't believe it. You put down your bags and everything you see that you ever wanted is here. You're gifted a beautiful house in the mountain and you get to live there and just enjoy this life that you've created for yourself. You're now, you realize, a legend. You've conquered the mountain that no one else had the courage to do. And you're free of that old life. You never have to go back. And as you look back down the mountain, you see that old village of yours that you came for. It's just a spot in the distance now. And you realize just how far you've come. And this fills you with immense pride. Now, life up here on the mountain is pretty good. You get to meet all the other people who've also braved the mountain and lived to tell the tale. So you've got this great community of people, and you hang out and tell stories of all your endeavors and the climbs from the past years, and spend many great nights together toasting to your combined success. You get to really just enjoy life up here. It's good. You know, you get to swim in the lake, maybe drink a nice coconut and hang with the other climbers who have all built a life here. And you know that these are more your people than what you've come from. But quite quickly, actually, the high of this win and this new life starts to wear off. You start to feel a bit maybe demotivated and actually a bit unhappy. Like, yes, life is really great here. And like, you have all the things that you thought you wanted, but actually, it's not what you imagined it would feel like. It actually feels a bit shallow and hollow up here. And you find yourself maybe even feeling bad or guilting yourself for not liking this Mount Freedom place just as much as you maybe should. And after a while, you find that the conversations with the other people who've made it to the top here is kind of become quite shallow and unstimulating and draining of your energy, actually. They're just quite egoic people. They talk a lot about their past successes and even indulging in drinking and other hedonistic pleasures. And you realize that even though that can be fun for a while, it's not really you. So yes, you're proud that you've achieved this great feat and climbed this mountain, overcome all these obstacles and really proved yourself along the way, but you're not actually really that proud of this life that you're living up here anymore with these people. And most of all, there's a kind of a frustration that everything that you believed that this mountain would bring you is not doing so. And you're quite unsure of what to do next. And so one day, some months or years after you first planted your feet on the summit of this mountain, the clouds clear in a way that they never have before, to reveal a huge, even bigger mountain off in the distance. Now you ask the man with the white beard, "Sir, what is that mountain over there? I've never seen it before." "Ah, my friend, that is Mount Purpose. That over there is a whole other universe. This mountain that you're on right now, Mount Freedom, is all about being above the old people from your old life and enjoying the superficial pleasures that life has to offer. However, Mount Purpose is about deep soul fulfillment. Now, legend has it that the few who manage to leave Mount Freedom and climb to the top of Mount Purpose achieve a level of true happiness and fulfillment that no one on this mountain could ever dream of. But, a warning, my friend, there are very few people who leave Mount Freedom that ever come back. We don't really know what happens to them, to be honest. Maybe they lose everything they gain up here and die and perish somewhere down there. If you ask me, it's better to just stay here where it's safe." His warnings do plant some seeds of fear, but many nights later, as you lie in bed, wide awake, you cannot get the vision of this second mountain out of your head. The promise of what lies up on the top there. Is this the answer to what's been missing here on Mount Freedom? Your rational mind kicks in though. You've come so far. What if you lose everything? And think about all the energy you put in to climb up here. Was that all a waste? This is because that even considering to leave Mount Freedom and climb this second mountain requires you to accept the fact that Mount Freedom has not given you all that the legend told you that it would. You were lied to in some ways, and you have to grieve this version of you back in the village who idealized the version of you that you've become now. Sure, there have been amazing benefits along the way, but there's still something missing, and it becomes more and more apparent and unavoidable every single day. But alas, the same spirit of adventure that inspired you to leave the village is still alive inside of your heart and cannot be silenced. Deep down, you know it. You need to go to the second mountain. There's no other way around it. You will not stay here knowing that there is no long-term happiness available on Mount Freedom. And you decide to make the journey, to make the trek down the other side of Mount Freedom into the dark crevice below. Who knows what's waiting there? And then make your way on to the undoubtedly grueling quest up to this even bigger second mountain, Mount Purpose. Meanwhile, your old climbing partner that you made it to the top with wants absolutely nothing to do with Mount Purpose. He is more than happy to stay here and live out his life with his new crew. That's all he ever wanted, and he even thinks that you're crazy for wanting to leave, to be honest. He sits around the fire and they all sit around with drinks just laughing at you and kind of saying how crazy this ridiculous plan of yours is to go off to this second mountain. Why would you ever leave? But leave you must. So on one cold, brisk morning, as you lace up your boots to head off on your second journey, you are ready to go. You're ready to leave this old life behind. And as you lift up your head to take another look at this mountain that lies before you, a man appears just in front of you. Now, his presence feels oddly familiar. He has a strange glow to him and an energy which you've never really felt from a person before, but it feels warm and calming. And he makes you feel very grounded and very present as you look at him. He speaks. I am from a small village, not unlike yours, my friend. I, just like you, dreamed of climbing Mount Freedom, believing it would give me all I ever wanted in life. I spent years hiking and being challenged, only to reach the top, to find temporary happiness, followed by reality setting in. Some years later, I longed more and more to feel something more. Just as my village friends told me I was crazy to leave the village, my summit friends told me I was crazy to Mount Freedom, but I knew it's what I must do. So one day, just like you, I laced up my boots and set off on a quest to climb Mount Purpose. You're shocked. This man has already been to Mount Purpose and come back. He continues. Now, if I think back to being in your shoes, I would imagine that right now, you're probably feeling a few things. I've come so far. What if I lose everything? And I gave so much energy to climb Mount Freedom. Was everything a waste? And even more importantly, why would I bother putting in even more work to climb Mount Purpose, only to maybe find out that I would end up feeling the exact same over there? There are some secrets I'd like to share with you, my friend. Firstly, if you project the experience of climbing Mount Freedom, this first mountain, onto the second mountain, of course you wouldn't want to climb it. You did all that hard work and ended up only temporarily happy, but long-term dissatisfied. Why would you want to give up everything that you've gained to go climb this bigger, scarier mountain with no guarantee that it's going to work out any different over there? He leans in even closer. My friend, what I can share with you from my experience is that the hardest part of climbing Mount Purpose is simply the decision that you are going all in to climb it. The decision to leave the safety and the familiarity which you know here on Mount Freedom, which was never truly for you, and step out once more into an even bigger unknown, this time potentially losing everything that you've gained. Not from a place, though, of necessity and survival like before, but now from a place of conscious choice and intention. But since you, unlike these other dwellers up here, have already made the decision to climb Mount Purpose, I have a secret for you. Now, what you didn't realize, my friend, is that as you ascend this second mountain, Mount Purpose, you actually gain more and more energy with every single step you take up. You see, Mount Purpose has a different kind of gravitational pull. Instead of climbing it from a place of survival and self-sacrifice for a pursuit of some future outcome, it's a totally different experience over there. See, with every new step up this mountain, you are unlocking a deeper level of purpose within yourself. This is a specific flavor of fulfillment that's only available there. As you gain more and more energy with every step you take, you get to enjoy the whole journey. It's not this grueling quest for some future outcome. And what's more, you get to take all of the mountaineering skills that you've learned from your first climb and apply it to this second climb up Mount Purpose. All the talents that you learned are not wasted. You can use all of them, but for something that's even more aligned to your greater soul's mission in the world. The difference is, you don't have to fight your way up anymore. You will actually be receiving energy with every step instead of giving energy out to try and make it to the top. And finally, this is the best part. What lies at the top of Mount Purpose is something more than just achievement or actualization. Up there, my friend, you reach transcendence. This is an experience where just your mere existence and offerings in the world become something that you are infinitely proud of. The things that you are creating and the life you are living over there on Mount Purpose are coming deeply from your core. They are you. Just by you existing, you are deeply content, happy, fulfilled. You live a full and complete life over there. What you do is who you are, is how you be. This is the ultimate and final step. Now, the guide's words land deep in your chest. They speak truth. It's an energy of like, oh, of course, makes total sense. Yes, of course, there's fear and uncertainty, and a part of you still doesn't know if you can trust this guy, but deep down, you seem to know this guy, he really knows what he's talking about. He knows the way, and it seems like he can help you through those moments of doubt, which undoubtedly lie ahead. And so the guide grins a cheeky grin, nods at Mount Purpose, and says to you with a smile, "So, shall we?" You stand up tall, fasten your backpack, take a deep breath, and nod. Yes. And as the sun begins to rise, the two of you set off on the most important and rewarding journey you will ever take in your life. Your quest up the second mountain, Mount Purpose. Thank you for listening. That is the end of this story. And I wish you all the very best on your own quest up the second mountain.